How's it, everybody? Josh from D3 Media here. It's a brand new episode of Brag with Your Brain. Today we out at Sales Are Us, and our guest is Hitan. How you doing, my man?
Well, thanks and yourself, Josh.
All right, all right.
It's been a while since we
been a
last chatted.
Very long indeed.
Yeah.
The headline of the podcast, as I've told you before, is how my side hustle turned into a business and how I maintain it. So obviously, you being one of the older friends or elder friends for me. I'd just like to say thank you for all the advice. I pop in here quite often for those of you that are around. I'm that friend that doesn't want to go away. Lucky security hasn't got me yet, but I invite all of you to come around and have a peep in the store. So without further ado, for your story, it's been a long, interesting ride for you that I believe is still going to go and grow to many more miles ahead.
I definitely reckon so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us where everything
And I class
started?
myself as one of your wiser friends, not older. Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
For you, where did it all start? Or let me rather take a step back.
Yeah.
And I know we shot the ad already, but what do you guys do here for the people that don't know about you and your team?
Josh, when we started off, it was just basically cellular. Cellular had hit SA at that time,
Yeah.
1999. And we just got into cellular.
Okay.
And like you said, or like you touched on, your side hustle became your
business.
your business.
Yeah.
Myself and my brother started off initially.
Yeah.
I can't say that I did it. I have to mention him. He might
Okay.
from
Yeah.
Auto Addicts. So shout out. He might at Auto
Shoutout.
Addicts. There
We
we
coming,
go.
yeah, we coming.
Support local guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I was working at the time.
Okay.
So we started doing this as a hobby, started buying a phone, selling a phone.
Yeah.
And it grew literally from that. So from the lounge, it became a store. From the store, it became IT. Then from IT, we started CCTV. So over the years, we've branched out, we've changed. You have to grow as a business.
Yeah.
You have to diversify, you have to grow, you have to see what is needed in your area. And then from that point of view, you just sort of just build on it.
Yeah.
So, and then it was 3 staff, and then it was 5 staff, and then it was 8 staff, So, although now we've cut back a little bit, so we've got 6 full-time staff and 4 students. We form part of I'll just let you know this as a side note. There are students that we take on as placements. From previously disadvantaged communities.
Okay.
We started the initiative probably about 8 years ago.
Okay.
So far to date, we've employed 3 of the students that we had placements for. So basically what it is they come through learning institutions that are studying various things from business management to technical stuff to being a technician to wanting to be a technician. It's guys that maybe have a physical disability. It's guys that come from a previously disadvantaged background. It's guys that are slightly older that tertiary education won't take, or they don't have matric, or they don't have grade 9, grade 10 or whatever. So they approach guys like us, or we approach them.
Yeah.
Basically, we've had so far 28 students, I think, of which we permanently employed 3.
That's a whole classroom, eh?
Yeah.
Almost 2.
Yeah. In fact, the store that we have in Westbourne Road that I've in fact sold off that store last year to our first student. She became a manager at that store.
Okay.
And we've now sold the store off to her.
Congratulations.
So it's empowering the local guys, which is something that not a lot of the guys have gotten into or getting into or see the potential in. But I mean, we as a brand, we see that.
Yeah.
So we've had guys that have been blind, 1 arm, half a leg, that type of thing. I mean, look, I know that sounds a little bit graphic, but I mean, maybe the viewers want to know, what forms that criteria. We've got 3 currently at the moment. So it's older guys, but I mean, at the end of the day, they are still employable. They're still learning. They're getting their tertiary education. And with being placed with us for 6 months, 8 months, a year, they have classes during the day. or certain weeks they go in permanently for 2 or 3 days, and then they'll work with us for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
So so with that, we've learned to obviously diversify, see what the guys out there are wanting, get a lot of feedback from your customers, and then you just grow basically on that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Where would you say everything started? Because I hear you say yourself and your brother started with
Yeah.
selling a phone.
A phone.
A phone. So
That's it.
was this like the two of you got hold of a cell phone and see who can sell it first? Or was this like obsession for you,
No.
like with cell phones growing up? Or
Look, I've always been a tinkerer of sorts. I am basically a self-taught technician, so I spend most of my time in the workshop.
okay.
So my brain wants to know how it works, strip it down, see what's going on, fix
Yeah, yeah.
it. And so far, I mean, it's worked pretty well. As you know, my wife's in the business.
Yeah.
So she runs the front and she's the HR, and she does the legwork of the administrative side.
Yeah, yeah.
And I make sure that the workshop performs.
Okay.
So with that said, from the first part of that question, you asked about how did it start and how did it get to where it is. Then we started off a workshop where we fix a lot of the items. And then
Okay.
we've branched from cell phones to literally anything. So anything that's got a circuit board, anything that can be fixed, we book it in and we'll
You'll have a look at
we'll
it.
have a look at it. Yeah.
No, like
Yeah.
one of the things that is a very popular question, right, is the choice between Samsung or Android actually and iPhone.
That is
It's a tricky question. It's like Messi
Yes.
versus Ronaldo, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you that question for your personal preference. I'm going to ask you business-wise. Who brings you more business, Android or Apple?
Android.
Android.
Android brings us more business. Okay. It is a difficult question to answer, but I'm gonna try.
Okay.
I'll break it down into two aspects.
No problem.
All right. Remember, Android is the operating system. Right. Now, Android is like flavors of cool drink. Right. You look at all the cool drink as being cool drink,
Yeah.
but they all have got a different base. They all have got a different flavor. They've all have got a different way they satisfy the client.
Yeah.
Right. iOS, being Apple, is iOS.
Yeah.
That is it.
Okay.
You know, there is no filtered down version. There is no, like Trevor Noah says, he's the guy that's still in the Oros bottle, and everybody else is the decanted one. I think your listeners will understand that that concept. So from a stability point of view, speaking purely as a technician, for me, your iOS is your safest and your platform that is not going to drop you with regards to a virus. It's not going to drop you with regards to it failing. It's not going to drop you with regards to somebody hacking into it. Whereas Android, because there's so many filtered versions of Android, right? You have that much more that can go wrong, because each Huawei has got their own version of Android. Samsung has got their own version of Android. So with the diversity in the Android itself comes the problems.
Okay.
Right. Then if you look at it from a sales point of view, right, you look at Android being 10 years ago, Android occupied 60% of the market and iOS supported 40% of the market. Nowadays, it's a little bit the other way around. I would say, look, you know what, you can look at the stats and you can look at the figures, but that's synonymous with different countries in the world.
Yeah.
iOS is far approaching a point of where they would probably lead the race with complete sales. But because customers are understanding that it's a safer platform, if you look at it purely from a repair point of view, you got your Android, which is holding maybe 60% of the market, and iOS, which is holding 40%. So if you look at your technician's desk, you've only got 4 iOS phones booked in, whereas you've got 6 from another brand or Android.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got much more Android booked in for repairs than what the iOS is booked in for.
Yeah.
Then if you break that repair process down, iOS fails constantly, viruses, constantly where the Android,
iOS.
no, sorry, Android,
Oh, okay.
yeah, where, sorry, my mistake, where Android fails, where we book in a lot with viruses, we book in a lot of units that have just systematically failed, or you've got units where the CPUs, the processors fail. I think it's a two-pronged thing. It's basically, it's the companies wanting to roll units out as fast as possible to get more sales in. So there's not that much that goes into the development side of things where the testing goes on. Whereas iOS spends a little bit more time. They launch one model per year. They do a lot more fundamentals behind the scenes to make sure that that platform is secure. So you would have more Android phones booked in than your iOS units.
Yeah.
So look, I know it's a long way around. It's a long answer, but I would suggest that you need to find a unit that works for the platform that you need it for. Remember, some companies don't allow iOS, some companies don't allow Android, or they vice versa. They change compared to what or for what purpose they need it for. So customers are driven by the fact that they can use it at work, it chats to their systems.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, nowadays your phone is your right arm, literally. Because a lot of guys use it for work purposes, be it from loading a spreadsheet, be it from fixing a particular item on a line, be it taking photos. So you are driven by your how good the camera is, how stable the platform is, and if it's going to work for my work scenario. So that's how it's basically gets split, and customers will choose a device according to that.
Yeah.
But with that said, iOS has built up a following over the last 2 or 3 years. We have seen a shift from selling more Android phones to selling more iOS-based phones or your Apple devices.
It's interesting you touched on the right arm description of a phone because
Yeah.
it's also one of the questions that I've got lined up. Obviously, being within the, I think it's a bit unfair, but for the question, I'll say to be in the cell phone industry, right?
Yeah.
Is it difficult for you, or how do you basically go about keeping up to date with random times? Because, like you're saying, there are a few flavors of Android. There's only one
Only
iPhone.
one iOS. Yeah.
You could be looking at a phone now. I definitely want to take you guys through this. I don't know what to call it, but it's a step through evolution of the cell phones and a payphone. But we'll get to that now. No, but back to the question: how do you keep up with how things are currently changing? Like off the top of my head, from the iPhone 10 XS to XR to the iPhone 11 Pro Max going forward, then you could maybe look at the features changing on the Samsungs year in and year out. I'm sure it can't be easy for you as somebody who's doing repairs or somebody that is doing the sales on these, apart from the obvious question, which is when somebody walks through that door looking for some advice, you don't want to be issuing advice that is now being outdated by a new model or something that is currently in the process.
You know, that is also a difficult thing to answer. I'm the type of person that likes to deal with the facts because you have a customer that knows a lot about one singular item, right? We need to know all the facts of every item that there ever was, there ever is available, and there ever is coming out.
Yeah.
If you work for the network stores, then you've got training programs all the time that keep you updated.
Okay.
Being self-employed, the onus falls upon your own shoulders. So we encourage our staff to go online, familiarize yourself with what's going on, see what's new, how can we incorporate that into the business, and how you can help the client. Look, with selling a product, you familiarize yourself on a daily basis with the product because you're physically handling it all the time. So you've got that one-on-one with that product. So with spending time with anything, you get to know the ins and outs
Yeah.
of it because you're spending that much time with it. And I mean, I must say, when it comes to our staff, they've been with us for quite a while. The guys have come from that type of background where they've either worked for network stores or they know exactly what to expect, what to say, how to assist your customer. But I would say the onus falls upon you. I mean, you need to familiarize yourself. I mean, I'm a self-taught technician, basically. So you need to familiarize yourself with what's going on, with what's coming out, with what's available. And then obviously your staff is the face of your business. So not only you need to know, your staff need to know as well. So you try and keep up that rapport all the time. So you're chatting constantly during the day. You're making sure that, okay, this Android device has this problem. So you let the you pass that down in the chain. So when it comes to a customer, like I said, if a customer walks in the door and they ask me, listen, you know what does the S24 Ultra perform like? And I can basically tell you what the spreadsheet says. But the spreadsheet is just a spreadsheet. Your fundamental using of the phone is different to mine. So although you use it for work, I may be sitting there and watching series all day because I sit in a booth at a gate, that type of thing. I may be a security guard. But with that said, the security guard is still going to carry a S24 Ultra, and so are you. You're going to be using yours exclusively for business, and he's going to be watching podcasts.
No, for sure.
So it's the function versus the form. Basically, the form of the phone and the function that you need it for. So you can't distinguish between the two, and neither can you take away the one from the other. I would say it's something that I don't know what the terminology would be, but like I said, it's function versus form. So it's something that you would want to use on a daily basis that works for you and obviously is affordable.
I think it's got a lot to do with a lot of businesses out here, not only for phones, but people are looking for the closest version to their imagination or their fairy tale dream for the nicest or the lowest price.
Of course.
What does that look like for you with regards to your sales? When you're trying to sell or somebody walks in for the sale, how does that impact you? Do you get a lot of people coming with their mind made up? I definitely need this phone. Or do you get a few that basically, I would say, need some convincing?
Look, I mean, sales is sales. I don't like to dissuade a customer if they come in with something particular in mind, even though I may not have it here. It may be available on my shelf or it may not be available on my shelf. But if you walk in the door and you tell me, listen, I need a phone. Okay. My guys know what to ask, the fundamentals. Okay. Memory capacity, are you using it for work? Do you do work-related emails? And that type of thing. Because then work-related emails, meaning that it needs to go into the IT company for them to set up the server-based app on there. So only certain phones can do that, and it's more your premium phones. Your lower down phones and your lower end spec phones don't have that facility. So then my guys will know exactly, listen, we supplied this particular product. But if a customer comes in and he's looking for a pink iPhone 16, he or she knows exactly what they want. You can't persuade him to take a 15 because they want that particular product. With that said, it's becoming increasingly difficult to satisfy a customer's needs because there's so much of variety out there. Yes, the basic platform nowadays is 128 gig with 4 to 6 gigs of RAM. Yes, a Samsung with that spec is going to cost you 5,500 new, but you can get a Honor for 4,000. That's got exactly the same specs. That is also a dual SIM that supports the Google Services app. That is just as great, but because it's not a Samsung and it's a Huawei phone, it's slightly cheaper. That's where I would send that guy to. I would say, listen, you know what? Although you want that Samsung, but are you prepared to spend that
Samsung
much
money?
Are you prepared to spend Samsung money? You can get exactly the same thing in a different brand. Then the customer will be like, yes, champion, because now exactly you know what you're talking about. So it's that way you need to have that sort of positivity where the product that you're selling is going to perform optimally for that customer's needs. when it comes to iOS, like I said, your iOS customer is like your BMW customer. I don't know if we can say that. you
Go
know,
for it.
yeah, So they come in the door knowing what they want,
Yeah.
and you're not going to sell them an Android.
Yeah.
So
For today's episode, I can't remember if it was 2 episodes ago or 3 episodes ago, but I jumbled up some facts, right?
yeah,
And I had to cut it, unfortunately. So I decided I'm gonna Google 3 things
yes.
for this specific episode.
Oh, wow.
And this is no, not for every episode. I just meant
Okay.
I'm gonna Google 3
Yeah.
random facts,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna see what you reply to that.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is completely based on 5 minutes of research. If this is out of date by the time this airs, please don't shoot me down in the comments. But did you know that the iPhone 16, not the Pro Max and not the Pro, is the highest selling phone up to date for today?
I did not know.
I would have not guessed that either.
I am very surprised, considering the price tag that it has.
No, globally, not in
No,
South
no,
Africa.
no. I'm thinking globally. I'm thinking globally, but
What would you have thought would have taken the crown this year?
wow, really, iPhone 16. I would have thought it would be one of the honors. Because at the moment in SA, the Honor phones are outselling the competition 60 to 40%. And that's what I heard from the Honor rep for the Eastern Cape.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the flagship on at the moment?
Flagship Honor is your 400 series, hey?
400.
Am I correct? Yeah, you're on a 400.
That's the one that looks
on
like
a 400
the-
Lite, and you're on a 400.
The same one with the 3 cameras like the
That's
iPhone.
correct. Yes. Yeah. So they come out in a 256 GB Lite version and a 512 GB,
The Pro.
the Pro version. Yeah.
I saw it. Not too
They've
long ago.
redefined what flagship is in that segment. Whereas your iPhone comes out in a 128, 256, or a 512. Very few models come out in a terabyte, and some models don't have a 512 available. So you stuck with that sort of memory capacity. And I mean, when it comes to iPhone comes with a price tag. I mean, look in any country, be it SA or be it anywhere else. But I'm genuinely surprised. Yeah, I did not know.
Okay.
So 1-0 to you.
No, I can't take credit. I'm going to get to this in a minute, which is why I'm actually saying this is, what is your go-to guy for some research? If somebody asks you something, whether it's for business or you in your personal capacity, how many liters of fuel does your car take? And you don't know. Where are you going to go to get that answer? Your search engine of choice.
My search engine of choice is probably one of the 5 friends that I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I very seldomly Google.
Is it?
I will Google if it's like something specific that I need to check up on for a client. But I mean, like if it comes to a particular thing, then I will normally have a go-to guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you prefer the personal experience and going online?
There we go. I prefer that personally because I want to give the customer real-time response. Because I cannot give you a review on something that I've never held, something that I've never used, and something that I've never owned.
Okay, fair enough.
That's the way I look at it, and that's the way I've always been. I mean, I can't review a BMW M3 because I never owned one and I've never driven one. But I can tell you exactly what iPhone performs like because I've had one and I've owned one.
This is your business,
Yeah, because you need to know your market. Although you need to know a little bit about everything else, but you need to know at least 110% of what you are selling. Look, when it comes to the cellular side of things, and I know this is going to sound really bad or really shocking, but even if you phone the agents, they themselves don't have the information. Yeah. And it's a two-pronged thing, like I said earlier on. You as a business owner need to take the initiative. You need to upload yourself with those skills.
Yeah.
You need to go that extra mile. You need to Google search if you have to. You need to find out specifics, because when a customer walks in the door and he wants to know if the Apple Watch 7 can take his glucose reading, you need to know. If you phone iStore for that, they can't answer that question. If you phone Samsung for that, they're definitely not going to have that answer because they just lack that experience, or they just don't want to answer that question. So, you would have a lot more brand consciousness if those guys just took a little bit more time and have that information. You don't need to have it on your fingertips. But I mean, at the end of the day, you are selling a product, you are representing a brand.
Yeah.
And that's what's lacking in this country, is the guys that actually own the brands know very little about the brand themselves. Or they're in that position where they're just not willing to actually answer that question. And I mean, you got a customer standing in front of you and he wants that particular information. And if you don't have it, the guy's going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And Google, unfortunately, cannot honestly answer those questions. This is another thing why I don't like to Google. Because if you Google iPhone 12, right, you get a UAE model, you get a Dubai model, you get the European model, and you get the model that comes out in the East. All four of those models have got different specs and different features. And in most cases, they're going to give you on Google, even if it's GSM Arena, they're going to give you the overseas version. So your phone that you're holding may not have the same specs or the same features. So you're going to be reading something that has no base application to the country that you are in, because phones that are released in different countries have different features, which is something that very few people know. Like, let's just take the Samsung S20 series.
Yeah.
The S20 series, why it flopped in SA was because it never came out with the Snapdragon chipset. Snapdragon chipset is basically a better performing chipset system. Due to a lot of pressure coming from markets in the West, they brought it out in the S23 series.
That's a very interesting and confusing point to make, because this is like buying a race car. I don't
Yes.
know. Let's stick to the BMW M3 as your previous
Yeah.
example. Being advertised on whatever TV channel you prefer watching.
Yeah.
And obviously they're having left-handed drives overseas. But the engine size is still going to be the engine size. So we get it in South Africa, right-hand drive. But your mindset should be telling you my engine should still have
Yes.
X, Y, and Z,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's still this BMW.
Yeah.
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. I would have never thought that they would have done something like that, because I would
yeah,
only
yeah.
assume it damages
No.
your reputation and your sales.
It does definitely. Now, I can tell you that from personal experience, because when the S20 series was launched, a customer called me and he was hugely disappointed because the phone itself didn't perform when he was gaming. And I didn't understand it either, because according to the spreadsheet, it says Snapdragon chipset, but our one comes out with the Exynos chipset, right? Or the Xenios, whichever way you want to pronounce it. Now, that is a poorly performing chipset system for excessive gamers or guys that are gaming for more than 4 hours. And I subsequently phoned Samsung to find out, and they couldn't answer the question. Why does every other model in the world come out with the Snapdragon chipset, and why does the South African one come out with a different chipset system? Yeah. So
What did they say? Can you
they
say it on
can't.
camera?
They can't answer the question. Yeah, they don't know.
That's rough.
They don't know.
That's rough.
So what am I supposed to tell my client? You own the brand. You are representing Samsung. You can't answer the question.
Yeah.
It's shocking. Absolutely shocking.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's really
So how do I advise my client? Then you are buying a flagship model that says it's got that, but when you unbox it and you find out that it doesn't, you can't return the product, and you've already paid the money, or
bucks
you've taken
also
out the
still
contract, or you've taken out the contract already
Yeah.
for something that is an inferior quality.
Yeah, what do you do now?
So you stuck with that handset for 24 months,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
36 months.
Oh, sorry. Well, nowadays, yes. Nowadays they're pulling it over 36 months.
36 months.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to your iOS phones, the same model that's available in the US would be the same chip that's available here.
Yeah.
You see.
That's also something, but I can't remember. I'm going to sound like Jacob Zuma now with 565 and 75.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back for our numbers discussion.
Oh, numbers.
Numbers.
Okay, cool.
We're going to talk some numbers after this. You all right with it?
I'm good with numbers.
All right. We'll be right back. How's it, guys? Josh from Deep Freak Media here. How are you doing? Thanks again to Shoutout for sponsoring today's episode. Check them out. They're in the Pick and Pay Commercial Road Shopping Center for all your Apple, Android, laptops, televisions, amplifiers, electronics, cables, chargers, and accessories. Thank you so much.
And I was spending how much at Vodacom? A month? For the last 20, that's on my line. For the last 20 something years. And a customer told me about this. I'm in this industry and I never knew.
Yesterday. Welcome back, ladies and gents. Brag with your brand. Josh here at
Hitan
Shoutout.
at Shoutout.
And Hitan at Shoutout. So we're going to jump right back into it. As a tech guy, I have to now ask this question because we started this discussion offline. What at the moment is your, I won't say favorite, but most prescribed network service provider in South Africa at the moment?
Okay. If you are living in a confined city and you're not doing much traveling, then Vodacom is your preferred choice. However, Vodacom is expensive.
Yeah, it's pricey.
Yeah, they're pricey. If you are living in a more rural or isolated area, I would say MTN. MTN has spent a lot of time and effort in putting up towers all over Africa.
Okay.
So if you're the dude that's going to be traveling, MTN is your best bet, or MTN is your go-to. Their rates are not that bad, and the coverage is good. Vodacom's coverage, don't get me wrong, is brilliant all over. I was a Vodacom subscriber for 26 years, I love. As we chatted off air, I canceled my contract with them after all those years to go. Spending, can I say the figures? I was spending $1,800 with Vodacom on a contract, which kudos to them. They kept me on that contract for way longer than what it was available for, because I was a Red Advantage member. So basically, you are a corporate subscriber. You have more than one line. Anybody can be a corporate subscriber. You can have one line. It just basically gives you preferential rates on data and on calls. And it gives you access to your account manually instead of phoning into a call center. And so you treat it as a business customer. You get to the front of the line. If you phone in, your calls will get rerouted and that type of thing. So you're not like on a pay-as-you-go line.
So you have like a private bank for your cell phone contract type of thing.
There we go. There we go. And that's on your Red Advantage packages.
Okay.
Subsequently, as I said, a customer walked in the door the one day, and I looked at the phone and I said, "Me and you." I looked at this line, and she said, "Yeah." They work for a huge company in PE. They subscribe online. She's got an eSIM. It's costing her $299 for a limitless line. And I was like, no freaking ways. Subsequently, I canceled Vodacom. I'm with them now for the last 5 months, I think. And I'm spending, I think, $400 with them a month for exactly the same thing that I got from Vodacom for 1,800 Rand.
Yeah, what a behind the scenes bang for buck.
Dude. And I've converted probably 200-300 people in the last few months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't run a physical SIM. I've got an eSIM. I don't know whether most people know you can load up to 20 eSIMs to a device.
I don't know that.
Yeah. And you can load 2 SIM cards to most devices. When it comes to iOS as well, we can convert most of them to dual SIM. So I can put a dual SIM reader in your iPhone 13 or your iPhone 15. We can make a dual SIM, and then
dual physical SIM, right?
Dual physical SIM, yeah.
And then up to 20 eSIMs as well.
And then up to 20 eSIMs, yeah, which you can run 2 eSIMs concurrently at the same time. Most guys use it for traveling purposes, for different countries and that type of thing, because it works off a satellite-based link up, as your normal ones work off a tower-based or network-based. But yeah, it works brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly. And I'm saving a hell of a lot of money.
I have to interrupt you and ask this question. I've mentioned this. We spoke offline before this about our movies and series or whatever we're watching, right?
That's correct.
I'm a massive Jurassic Park fan, right? Which one is it now? I think it's Jurassic Park 3, The Lost World. There's that phone Kirby painted out plus. I'll never forget it. Chime is the big dinosaur swallows this guy when he's gonna answer the phone. This is a satellite phone,
Yeah.
and they walk around, obviously trying to get signal, blah blah blah. In your opinion, I don't know what it's been like, but what is it like for a eSIM on satellites in South Africa? Are we there yet? Are we getting there? We've missed a part. What would you say?
Yo, Josh, that is such a difficult question to answer. The long and the short of it is we at the bottom don't exactly know what's going on up there. I mean, look, in my line of work, I chat to people all the time, guys that work on towers, guys that are technicians, guys that come from all the different networks. And we just don't have the infrastructure, I think. Yeah, we're running on old infrastructure. Yeah, piggybacking on different networks. But that's where the cellular companies have gone the extra mile. They saw the potential in the cellular industry, which I think Telkom and those guys didn't pick up on initially. Can you imagine if they did? Telkom would have been in a position where Vodacom is today, or where all the network companies were. Because initially, the network companies didn't have the infrastructure to put up the towers themselves, so they piggybacked on Telkom. And they've literally outsold them, and that's why Telkom has folded, or pretty much. And the networks are so big. But with that, it's both sides. I mean, we pay about the highest rates for calls and for data in the world.
That was going to be the next question, but yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are real things that affect real people. With that said, most of the cell phone sales themselves come from the poorer countries, not so much from the rich countries. Like if you go to America, let's just break it down for you. You can get 2 iPhone 14s for $99 a month. And it's literally limitless. You don't pay for calls. Wi-Fi is available all over. That's 2 phones worth 19,000 each for, what is it? What is $99 a month? Yeah, $350. Yeah. Whereas you look at that phone here, it's going to cost you 20 grand. Your contract signing up over 3 years is going to cost you 37,000 per phone. And I mean, if you look at the income bracket of your average person here, 5 per household, that's 150K worth of phones. Yeah. So it's a lot of money to spend. It's a lot of money to spend on just having a phone. If the infrastructure was available, if it was better managed, I think we would have a lot more areas with Wi-Fi, a lot better Wi-Fi, 5G all over the place, like what you get in different countries. So I think it's a case of where they do know that the market is what it is, so they just milk it for as long as they can before they do the upgrades. But I think, coming back to your question, I think we're still running on very old tech. Yeah, we're still running a very old tech.
You kind of went a little bit forward now.
I went off the tangent a little bit. Sorry, but I had to explain it that way, I think.
No problem at all. The other thing I asked you previously, your favorite search provider.
Yes.
Right? I Googled the first one for the most sold phone
for this year. Fiscal year, yeah. Okay.
Which was
the iPhone
16. Not the Pro and not the Pro Max, the iPhone 16. So I decided to use a different search engine.
Okay.
And I decided to use ChatGPT for this. And if I had to ask you, based on the ChatGPT answer I got, how many cell phones would you guess are sold per week in South Africa?
Sure. That is going to be
only in South Africa.
That's going to be a really difficult.
This is not cell phone specific, brand specific,
no,
high range, low range.
That is just cell phones alone.
So from your Tilili, Tikitoli, for those of you that don't know, Tilili is your very, very.
That's going to be a difficult one, Josh. That's going to be a difficult one.
Guess.
I've got a number. I'm going to be so far off the mark. We're talking per month.
No, per week.
Per week. 100,000?
It's too much.
Is that too much?
Yeah.
We're talking the whole of SA. From your 199 phones.
Everything included, yeah. Cash sales, not contracts.
Okay. Okay. I thought across the board.
No. Just over the counter or at a second-hand shop or anywhere that you could actually buy a phone, not paying it off.
So if 100K is too much and we split it down the middle then, 50,000, or is that still too much?
Looking at about 39,000 phones per week in South Africa.
39,000?
39,000 phones sold, prepaid, over-the-counter, cash deals per week in South Africa. That's some scary numbers right there.
You two for O now. You got me on both.
No, I can't take the credit for this. That's the ChatGPT assistant.
That is insane.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah. I'm going to use my last, I had to write this down. I would never have remembered this. But I'm going to read you a random fact that I used from Garage.
Okay.
You know Garage?
Heard about it.
Elon Musk.
Yes. His new platform.
Yeah.
That they've launched. Yes.
So in the year 1983, I was, like you said earlier, in somebody's kneecaps. There was a guy named Martin Cooper. Martin Cooper was a designer for Motorola, and he designed their first cell phone. Right?
Wow.
This was a 1G cell phone. Battery life of the cell phone was 30 minutes of talk time. And the charging time for this phone that weighed over a kilogram was 10 hours to get you a half an hour of talk time.
Yeah, so...
I know you've got a lot of things back there.
So was it something like that?
I think it was before that. That's actually the phone from the Matrix. I never stopped saying it. Off the top of your head, just for some reference, where this phone weighed a kilogram, a full kilogram. So this is like,
wow.
I don't know how much a 2-liter weighs. I would assume it's somewhere in the kilo range. Or kilogram of sugar. I think most people relate to a kilo of sugar or a kilo of rice. This is how much this phone weighed. And you needed to charge this phone for 10 full hours to talk for 30 minutes. Half an hour talk time. What would you say is the evolution of cell phones from way back then to where we are now? Because as you rightfully mentioned, you're getting phones that charge up to 50% in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a long way, eh?
Josh, that is also one of those very difficult questions to answer because technology is moving at an exponential pace. The batteries that are being designed now are absolutely insane. You mentioned Elon Musk. I'm a huge fan.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't fan on a lot of stuff or on a lot of people. But
he's from South Africa,
yes,
right? Is that factually correct?
He was born here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's moved the evolutionary race, if you want to call it that, leaps and bounds in the last 10 years. I mean, he's done stuff that most people said, the best scientists in the world said could not be done. And he's proved them wrong. They are in the pipeline of, I don't know how far this is true, but this is what I've been reading, on a flagship model of phone. They're coming out with a 1 terabyte unit. So
he's doing phones also.
That's what the podcast is saying.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be based on, like, the watches that have the kinetic perpetual motion. You don't need to charge it.
I don't know what that means.
You don't know. Okay. It's basically got a little turbine on the inside that as you move, the pendulum swings and it charges it because it's got a facility on the inside that obviously did that. You had this old Seiko watches.
Is it like the wind-up torches from?
No. This. Yes, this will. Yes, it's got.
When you move, it charges.
Yeah. So basically, they are talking about coming out with something like that. So that will further revolutionize things if that is something that's gonna actually be launched or something that is gonna see the light of day. That would change the market completely. Yeah, where you have a self-charging cell phone. The guys are talking about embedding stuff in your wrist or wearing it like a wristband, having headsets that you just plug into your ear that would mimic a cell phone that would work on voice commands. So I think the trajectory of it, if you want to call it that, is basically what somebody can design and somebody can come up with. The sky's the limit when it comes to that. I think that we would have integrated cellular networks in everything. So in your PCs, in your cars, on your handheld, be it a bracelet, be it an earring, be it something like that, where it would work on voice command and you won't carry a physical phone anymore. And it won't be linked to a network. SIMs would probably die out. I know that's being a little bit presumptuous, but yeah. And then it'll all be satellite. And then it'll all be satellites. I mean, we've got 55,000 orbiting satellites in the atmosphere currently.
Okay.
So it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why I also asked you about the evolution of cell phones is we've really come. Is it telephony? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah, sorry, what?
Telephony.
Yeah,
Am I saying it right?
telephonically. Yes.
Telephonically.
Yeah.
You've came a long way. There's my moment.
Yeah.
But from the old tiki box that later evolved into a card.
One of those ones.
Yeah. We've did these over there. We're gonna have it in after the pod just so you guys can take a little bit of a trip with us down memory lane. But we've moved to phones like the first phone I remember was a Siemens C35. That was actually the first phone I owned, a blue one.
Okay. Yes.
After that, I got myself, well, not got myself, my parents got me a Nokia 5110. That saved my life. If you check one of my previous episodes, this is like not even a joke, it's a real story. We were like on the verge of getting robbed, and this Buxton saved my life. If I didn't have this thing with me to like kind of, but any rate, to a 51.
Wave it around like a weapon.
Yeah, that's what I unfortunately had to do.
Yeah.
But we've moved on where the ringtones were, I don't even know what you call it, from chimes to polyphonic to MP3.
Yes.
To having the actual music on your phone where storage wasn't enough. We've moved to having
Cloud-based storage.
Before the cloud-based storage was the memory cards.
Memory cards. Yeah.
Memory cards.
The first memory cards that came out were 256 GB.
Megabytes.
Sorry. Yes, megabytes. Yes, sorry, megabytes. The first memory cards. I in fact have still got some of those old ones here that I've kept. Those were megabytes, and I mean those came out with the Nokia 6230i.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
I'll Google it.
It was the first business class phone from Nokia.
Yeah.
And they launched it with that, and you were the business if you had that phone with that memory card.
Or that memory card.
Yeah. Nowadays, you've got
our pictures
phones that have got terabyte memories on them.
Yeah. I was just going to say that because, I mean, that's the second thing I wanted to basically add to my comments about the capability of phones is that everything keeps getting bigger in terms of the size of the phone, whereas a few years ago, the phones were getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So not storage-wise, I'm talking like literally if you're walking around with a bigger phone, you placed in a different social bracket.
Yes.
Your Pro Max or your S Ultra. This is like a different bracket to be in. And as things are going, from the time where we had VGA cameras, they were probably, I don't know, I'm guessing here.
Yeah.
Maybe like a 5 megabyte for a picture. You're getting now, like you can easily fill up on an iPhone or on a Samsung. You could fill up a gig in a couple of minutes. You're shooting 4K. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So,
and store 350,000 pics.
Yeah.
On your 128 GB device.
There you go.
I've seen that.
This is crazy.
Yeah. I can tell you why though. You see, the new phones are data operated. The older phones worked purely off a GSM network frequency, of a megahertz frequency. So they could build those phones small because it never needed a touch screen.
Yeah.
It just needed a good battery life. You didn't have any internet-based apps. There was no internet-based app for phones. So the race was on to make a phone that you would find in the James Bond movie. You know, a really small phone. The Siemens C55, I think, was the smallest. I think it was the size of a matchbox. If you screwed the aerial off, you could actually stick it into a matchbox and you could close it. With the onset of BlackBerry and how they revolutionized the market, finding the loophole in the way data or in the way you can transmit data over open IP addresses, revolutionized that. Then all of a sudden it was a race of where, like I said before, it was function versus form. Initially, a phone was designed for, listen, I'm stuck on the side of the road, I got a flat wheel, that type of scenario. Nowadays, it's a work tool.
Yeah.
It forms part of your right hand. So out with the pen, out with the fax machine, out with your copiers and whatever work-related tool that you are using or used to use back in the day. Now it's your phone. It's being replaced by your phone. So they've revolutionized the way we work and incorporated that into the phone. They saw the way the market is going. I mean, if you look at the digital camera market, it's practically dead because your phones have taken over. And your digital...
I think somebody's going to have something to say about it after the pod.
No, well, I said practically. Not altogether.
I'd just like to maybe interrupt you then, ask you a question. So you're saying that back in the day, the cell phone was created for I'm stuck next to the road. Are you a product of a house phone? Did you have a house phone in your house once upon a time?
Yes.
Was there?
I still remember the actual phone number.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
4574438.
Do you remember a time where nobody had a cell phone in your house?
Yes.
So what the walkers back, I also we had a house phone. My granny had a house phone. I said this in a previous episode.
Yes.
You had like 4 rings, otherwise you're in trouble to get to that phone and answer it.
Yes.
Bearing in
There
mind,
was a rule. There was a rule at home. Yes.
Yeah. There's no caller ID, so you know who's on the other side.
Nope.
Of this line as well. But in any case, do you remember a time where you had to get hold of somebody and they weren't at home? This is before cell phones now, so I'm really taking you back.
No, I know. Cell phones were launched in the year that I matriculated. So I mean, we went through our schooling career without cell phones.
Without it.
But I mean, back then, my English teacher used to say it, we have goldfish bowl syndrome. And I always relate to that. Because when you are younger, you have your school friends, you have your family, and you have your community. Right?
Yeah.
Because we were pretty much segregated back then, each nationality lived in a different area and you stayed close to home. So you would be in contact with your school friends. So you had that chain.
Yeah.
And that would link you to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing.
Okay.
So school friends knew where you're going to be at what time. The guys that you played sport with knew exactly practices at that time of the afternoon. So you would go there. The only time you were allowed to use the phone was basically in the evenings. And I mean, who did you actually need to call? Because everything was right there and you had this. Whereas today it's completely on the opposite side. People speak more now without speaking.
Yeah.
If you actually catch my drift. I mean, look, we both have kids. You do it, yeah. I mean, if you look at the kids, I mean, I've got 2 boys.
Oh.
And they can be sitting on opposite ends of the lounge, although they do talk to each other, but a lot of times they're chatting on their phones. They're chatting to each other on their actual phones. So, we've gone away from that, having that personal touch, to, I think it's to the detriment of our youth, eh? Yeah.
Okay.
We are, I'm going to say something harsh. We are breeding a generation of very, very stunted youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, back in the day, if you needed information, you would have had to keep it between your ears.
Yeah.
So we read everything from a textbook and you kept that information. Nowadays, Google has spoiled all of that. I mean, if you ask anybody a simple question, what car is that? What bird is that outside? What plant is that growing in the garden? The kids of today don't know, but ask somebody that grew up in the time that we did, and I promise you they'll be able to answer every one of those questions correctly.
Yeah. No, very true.
So
we won't unfortunately have enough time for this, but I would have loved to dig a little bit more into your OG search engines, right?
Yeah.
And mail providers. Do you just want to give me a one-liner on who's the worst? You don't have to tell me why. The
No.
worst search engine you've heard about, because you said you're not that guy that's always online.
No. I'm going to be honest with you. Although we own a tech store and we're very savvy and we're very up to date. Me myself, I try and keep it as old school as possible.
Okay.
Yeah. So when it comes to search engine, dude, I honestly can't answer that question. I mean, like I said, I use Google now and then.
Yeah.
But like, if that's what you're referring to,
There's nothing wrong with Google. I'm gonna get into your would you rather's very shortly, but I'll just drop
a ticky in the box.
a ticky in the box
Yeah.
or a drop in the ocean.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I was such a big Yahoo fan. I don't know why. Till
Yeah.
today, I've got this Yahoo email address, and I probably
That nobody can find and nobody can get to, but
Yeah.
yet you're hanging on to it.
no, it created my first Facebook account, so that's the only reason why I'm hanging
yes.
on to it.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, we were studying, and me and this other crazy dude, we decided we're gonna have Yahoo email addresses, and the other two Chinas decided they're gonna have Gmail addresses.
Okay.
So we know where Google is now. I just don't know what Yahoo does in South Africa, because Yahoo's like on top of the game when it comes to like finance. Like this, you can actually go and check out.
Yeah.
In America, they're like a completely different.
They branched out. They diversified.
I don't know if
and
they still have the search engine capabilities, but I mean the company
I think the search engine part was bought out.
is a
But I mean, it comes back to anything tech related. It's an evolution.
yeah.
So what's in today is not going to be in tomorrow.
Yeah.
So until the next tech giant figures out the new thing, ChatGPT, what's that one?
Grok, get Google,
Yes.
get
So,
Perplexity.
yeah.
There's quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
I would love to know if Baidu is more used than actual Google. Baidu is your Chinese search engine. They're not allowed to use Google. So they use a company called Baidu, which I think has gotten to a point of where it's just as large. And most people have never heard of it. Like the look on your face tells
No,
tells
I've
me
never
that.
heard of it.
Yeah,
I've never heard
yeah,
of it. I'm
yeah.
not gonna lie. This is actually a funny story because you actually building up to my closing comments for the podcast.
Yeah.
Right. A really long time ago, when your shop was still opposite the road from where we are now,
Commercial Road, yeah.
I visited you guys over there, and I purchased, I think it was an iPhone 6. So this was my second iPhone I've owned in my life. The first time I just couldn't come right. I don't even remember what iPhone it was.
Yeah.
But I had it for a week, and I sold it. A brand new phone, I had it for a
Okay.
week, and I was like, this isn't for me. This is for the time when iPhones had this big marble there,
Yes.
and you press the button to go
Yes.
to the menu.
Yeah.
I walk into the store and I meet one of your sales dudes that is still here today. And he actually sells me, I just can't remember what network, I think I was Cell C at the time. And he sells me the number that most of my subscribers today have. So the reason why I bring this up is they, at this point in time, it was like this whole thing where people needed to RICA. Previous generations were like, what is this RICA thing? The government's trying to control our lives, or whatever the case may be. I get there, I get the cell phone. Charlotte helps me to RICA it and blah, blah, blah. And I learned quite a bit from you up until that point, and obviously every single time we speak after. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I want to get your comments on this because this is like part of the backbone of how I do my marketing for my personal business, for the brands that I work with, and for my day-to-day work.
Okay.
So I don't know if you recall what my first few sentences were to you when I stepped into the shop, and you told me, you know what, my man, I think I've got like almost 30 Facebook ads. I don't know if you remember something
Yes.
that was a while ago.
Yeah.
But this is something I've adapted to and something I've changed to a certain extent.
Okay.
So I can honestly say this, looking to the camera, you planted a seed way back then.
Okay.
No, I'm not even playing by saying this. I mean this really from the heart. With all these Facebook ads, this is part of how I done a lot of my marketing. For those that know me, you'll see at any given time I've got quite a few Facebook ads going on. And I've basically evolved, transformed, or moved this over to my WhatsApp.
Yeah.
which is the number that you guys sold me and recorded me. So during the lockdown period, I was getting something between, I would say, 800 and 1,500 views on this SIM card, on this WhatsApp.
That is awesome.
It is crazy, my man. I'm like far from the top. We've got somebody coming to the podcast who gets like over, I don't know what this Raju's numbers now. I saw something on his status. I don't want to spitball and then it's too little, too lot.
Yeah.
But I would say he gets more than 5,000 a day on his WhatsApp.
Wow.
But this is something, it takes time, it takes discipline. And it's something that lots of people don't understand. Lots of people don't understand why would you have this much views or why would you have this many contacts on your phone. I also came back to your shop and I bought the P30.
Yes, I remember that.
When I moved from that P30 to the iPhone, I like just got into the car and then the same salesman took a picture here that he actually sent me during the week. This was like about 4 years ago when I had it. And I had an emotional breakdown in my car because all my views were gone. I couldn't get my numbers off the iPhone onto the highway.
Okay.
I was sitting there, I was like, oh, I'm stuffed now. I don't know what I'm going to do now. I had to start over. And I think a couple of days later, I came back to the shop and I was like, my man, I don't know what to do now. This is my business. I'm going to sink here. You need to help me. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. What is it going to cost me? But I'm in some serious trouble now.
Yeah.
Because my advertising is going from this, I don't want to say big, I want to say this decent number, and it's gone.
Yeah.
You're a business owner, you can understand what I'm trying to say.
Of course, it's all the legwork that you've put in. It's not so much about the numbers, it's the amount of time, it's the
a combination.
legwork.
It's a combination.
Yeah.
And to close it out is, I think one of the things you also mentioned to me, like I was asking you about what do you prescribe or what do you demonstrate or what would you advise people that walk in the door to get? During that conversation, you were still like, how's your relationship with Google? Because something's not so lekker now. And then my friend bought the P40.
Yeah.
Do you remember that
Yes, I
conversation?
remember, yeah.
So this is like the final part of the podcast before we go to Would You Rather and after the pod. But you also told me like the way that people communicate is changing.
Yeah.
From actual phone calls to text messages. Right? I keep on saying this, and everybody who's in my circle, my friend, my family, or whatever the case may be, they know if you need my attention now, you're going to pick up the phone, you're going to call me.
Yeah.
WhatsApp is there. I mean, X is there.
Yes.
Facebook is there. Instagram, TikTok, all these beautiful things are up and about. But I just feel like this is me personally. I don't know if you have something similar going on. But a text message for business is not a priority. But if you're expecting an answer like now, you in the industry where you deal with a lot of people as staff and a lot of people as customers. And then you still have to accommodate. Not accommodate, sorry, it's the wrong word. But you still have to love your friends and family, your circle, basically.
Yes.
So these are the people that will send you funny messages for you wearing a silly sweater or please don't do whatever you done at the braai on Saturday. Apart from your customers, these numbers start piling up.
Of course.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So before we get out of here, what would you say is the next step to evolution of communication? Because I think we're both in agreement that texting or data usage, whether it's a WhatsApp or any of the other platforms that is available, are very, very fastly taking over the traditional phone call, as in pick up the phone, whether it be whatever platform using, the actual phone call is falling away. The search engines I mentioned now, and a couple that I have not, have actually got to the point where we didn't even touch on AI, and we're like borderline out of time now.
I think that's going to be the next episode.
Do you want to have a round two? We can definitely
have a round two.
Yeah,
we can go the AI route. Yeah.
So what do you think is the next route now? Because AI has actually reached a point where you can create a voice, you can use somebody else's voice. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying, I know YouTube doesn't like it. But what do you think is the next step? Because people are actually building shop fronts now. So this is somebody that answers your phone, created by AI, with its own personality. It has its own looks. I'm actually following somebody on TikTok that creates this is his business. He's not in South Africa, but he creates a person for you. He gives him or her a name, a personality, a voice, a language, a skill set, all of these beautiful things.
It is something that it's either going to work for your business or it's not going to work for your business. I would say the businesses that are going to spend that type of time, money, effort doing it is your blue chip companies for now. It's your guys that really willing to throw money behind it. It's probably your call centers. It's probably your bigger guys. For your smaller guys, your smaller entities here in SA, I don't think it's going to filter down that quickly. I think it's still going to take a bit of time. It's also a generational thing. If you grew up when I grew up, you would still think like the way I do predominantly. So you'd still phone the person. If I got to look at, I spend very little time on social platforms. Like I explained to you, I don't have any social platform accounts. We've got representation for the store, but I like to keep it old school. Life is so complicated as it is. The less you can complicate it, the better. I think that's a valuable lesson for anybody. Because if you look at the amount of time that people are spending on their cell phones, I mean, dude, if you leave home, you're probably in almost 2 or 3 accidents because somebody is busy on their phone, texting, doing something for work, reading online, or watching TikTok videos. Not that it's a bad thing, but I mean, don't do that shit when you're driving, you know? So I think it's going to be a much more integrated thing where it's going to be in your cars, where it's going to be a thing of where that AI or that person that you are wanting to get hold of, there would probably be like a server-based thing for most companies, and you'd probably just chat to the server directly. I don't think it's going to be a face-on, one-on-one thing with any particular person, because automation is taking over certain industries.
Yeah.
So it all depends which industry you're in and which industry you come from. You're still going to have the old school guys that are still going to chat, that are still going to do this for reference of a particular item, for reference of the conversation itself, or the content of that conversation. But I would say for most part, I think it would just be a server-based thing, where they would just piggyback on a server, 5 companies, 10 companies, that type of thing, and they would all just feed off that. So you would basically, it'll be like a call center thing if you want to grasp your mind around it.
I hope that doesn't happen.
It's going to be very impersonal. It's going to cause a lot of issues going forward. But for the
job
sake,
loss is going to be astronomical also, especially in South Africa.
especially in SA. So it's going to take away a lot of the fundamental jobs, and it's going to and AI is going to take over that market. But I think every part of evolution has its saturation point.
Yeah. And a breaking point too.
It gets to the saturation point, it breaks, it fails, and you build again. You start all over again. So, look, I mean, I think it's above our IQ pay grade, but we on the ground, I mean, look, we still fix 3310s that are 25 years old. I mean, you'll still get the odd customer that'll come in here with the phone that he's been using for the last 25 years. So for us, that will still filter down in the next 15, 20 years, that we would see serious impact or serious inroads into that type of thing. But I would say for now, I still think the phone call, the SMS, the WhatsApp, the video call will still prevail for the next 5 to 10 years.
I have to ask you this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know we like on the borderline. You're out of time. We had this is. I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but I always say it to Shal, my famous friend. So this is my way of acknowledge what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. We've had somebody on the podcast previously that also recently took out a contract, on his phone, and he gets like 500 SMSs. Like, what? I don't understand. Who sends SMSs, my guy?
We still do.
Like in a business manner.
Yes.
No, that I can understand. I'm talking about in a personal capacity.
No, in a personal capacity, I don't SMS anybody anymore. Unless my WhatsApp is frozen or my Telegram doesn't want to work, then I would send a quick message. I find that on iOS, now and then it's my particular phone. If I've got to update it, then it will just lag for a little bit, and then I'll just send the odd SMS. But from a business point of view, we do send a lot of SMSs because to add a customer's number to WhatsApp becomes ridiculous. I mean, I've been doing this for a while, and I've got 5,500 contacts saved in my personal phone. So you can imagine filtering through all of that, adding a person
Wait,
on
you've
WhatsApp.
got 5,500.
Contacts on my phone, yes.
And how long have you had that number?
27 years, I think.
I'm not doing it bad, eh? I never blow my own one, but I'm really not doing bad. This is the number that you
Yeah.
told me in that shop right
Yeah.
there. It can't be 4 years old. I'm just under 7,000 contacts now.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm really not doing too bad.
No,
eh?
you're really
Shout
not
out to
doing
me,
too
eh? Give
badly.
me a like and a comment. eh?
Kudos to you.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, with us, what I normally do is if I chat to you more than 2 or 3 times, then I'll save your details.
Okay.
But a customer wants to be known that you at least know them or acknowledge them when they call.
This is also something.
Know them by name.
We out of time.
Are we out of time?
Yeah. I'll say one thing for everybody that has ever transacted with me. There's a reason why I asked you for your name, and I think you were going to say that. You can just close off the podcast by yes, I'm right, or no, I'm wrong. If you've ever transacted with me and I give you your name, let's just say your name is Peter. The time you phone me and I say, good morning, Peter, how's it day? You in a good space immediately.
You've already made that human contact.
100%. Me as a salesman, I'm in a good space now to make the sale or provide a service because I'm greeting you by your name. You know what I mean? So we've run out of time, unfortunately. Now we're going to head over to after the pod just for a little bit of fun. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Hitan, thank you so much for the hospitality and taking the time to take the time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope it wasn't too boring.
No,
I hope we didn't ramble on.
I really doubt it. I really doubt it. But we'll definitely try to make our way and double back for part 2.
There's a lot we haven't discussed, I think.
I want to have an argument with this guy, but I think he's gonna beat me because he's too detailed, man, and his research is intense. It's something I like. It's something I like. I want to go for a debate. So we'll see. Let us know in the comment section down below if there's any of the topics that you guys were very into. Anything that you guys would like to discuss. And I'm gonna give you Mr. H one last chance here. Your sales and service, where the guys can find you. And then lastly, any shout outs to you, meneer? Give him a close up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
A really close up.
A really close up.
I'm glad I did my hair. I'm glad I did my hair for this interview.
What do you do and where
guys,
can we find you?
Yeah, Hitan at Sales at Us, local family-owned business, been around for 26 years. We do everything tech related. So if you have something that's got a circuit board in it, we can try and fix it. If you need something that needs a battery that needs to be charged, we can probably sell it to you.
Okay.
We do everything from your OEM to your brands to your generic products. Based at 57 Commercial Road, Pick and Pay Center, opposite Auto Styling and Capri Spares. Everybody knows them, so we use that as a landmark. So support local, guys. Very important.
Yeah. Any shout outs before we get out there?
Shout out to the guys that did the interview. Josh, thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's something that we've discussed a while back. And to the rest of the local business owners, guys, keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing. Make us proud.
Toodles. He's on the screen now, not me, but see you guys.